Bro, that's what I love. That's why I love podcasting. That's why I love creating and shit. Because, and that was one of the things that when you reached out to me, like at the beginning. Again, this is stuff that I want to get into here. So let's just start going here.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's just do it, and then we'll go from there.
Let's do it.
Test. And boom, we are live. What's up, everybody? Couple Casuals Podcast, episode number 7.
Ooh.
I'm your host, Stefano. And today I got a special one for you guys. I got a special guest. He's the host of It's Simple podcast. He's the host of Price to Sell podcast. He's a thriving real estate agent in the Toronto area, a content creator, and as we like to say, an overall good guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Campoli. Salute.
Going on.
Cheers, brother.
Salute. It's my first podcast ever.
This is our first one.
I've never done a podcast ever.
We're breaking it in. No, this is probably the most veteran style podcast guest I've had.
What's that podcast?
What's a podcast? We're about to figure it out today with a couple casuals guys. So salute. Thank you, Matt.
Salute. Thanks for having me. It's a beauty.
Holy fuck, that's good beer.
I got to give you a shout out, though, for everything you've done here.
You like it?
Yeah. One-man show. You've killed it.
One-man show, guys. You know what I mean? Matt's going to give me a quick appraisal on the condo before he leaves. We're looking at 1.8, he said.
1.8, 1.9.
We're looking...
If it's a Friday, maybe 2.1.
There you go. The weekends, it's always a little bit more exciting.
More hype.
We're trying to bust it up, guys. So if you're looking for a condo, let me know. Let Matt know. We'll get it done. But no, in all seriousness, bro, thank you for joining me. It's interesting, bro, because you were one of the first ones to reach out to me when I dropped this fucking podcast.
Yep.
And you gave me some words of encouragement, some support, words of support, which is more rare than you would think nowadays. And then one of the other things that you said to me was like, if you ever need a guest, bro, fucking let me know. And now we're here. So fucking thank you, bro. I appreciate you. And let's go. We're going to have a good conversation today, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate you. It was the TikTok for me. That's what did it for me.
Yeah, it was the TikToks.
It was your TikToks.
You've always enjoyed the TikToks.
Oh, man. Like, you know, when I'm in the washroom a little longer than a pee, you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Okay, anybody that says they don't look at their phone while they're taking a shit, they're lying.
What else are you going to do?
What else are you going to do?
I mean, my dad reads the paper, sure, but like, I'm not,
Yeah, people, it kind of transitioned from like reading the paper to like now we have mobile devices and stuff. And that's what we do all the time. We're stuck to it. We're glued to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's one thing I wanted to start with was that. And there's so many things that we can get into because Matt, it's so unique because like a lot of times when people they see other people like doing things right, they're not always quick to give words of encouragement or words of support and shit. Like, why do you think that, bro? Like, you're a podcaster and then you see another guy like starting one, but then you're quick to give words of encouragement. I'm interested in that, bro. Like, where does that come from, bro?
Because I respect the work that goes into it, the grind, the hustle behind it.
Respect the grind.
The idea.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, it's on, more importantly, the execution. Because a lot of people will just be like, oh, I want to do this, and never do a thing. Right? You're actually doing it. Yeah, man. Yeah. You ripping the TikToks should be way larger.
Yeah, you know what it is?
What I mean?
It's consistency, bro. That's the thing. But that's an interesting app in itself.
I've showed everyone around me is your TikTok. Bro, they make me cry. They're hilarious.
The voiceover ones or the
yeah, you and the voiceover ones are on point. Yeah. I don't know why you're like.
I know, bro. I got to do more of them. But you know what it is? It's the combination of this. Like I like creating, bro, which obviously you do too. Which we're gonna get into that. Yeah. But it's like the podcasting, doing this and then doing that. It's just fine. It's like it's a lot of you right at once, but. You got to, if you want to do it, you got to do it, bro, at the end of the day, right?
And it's only a matter of time before
it starts
something sticks.
Yeah, 100%,
because it's a combination of everything. It's exposure in many different platforms.
Yeah. And that there's so many outlets for us nowadays. But that's what I was interested to ask you is because nowadays, bro, people tend to go towards the negative first rather than the positive, And it's more rare than you would think to give like another person like words of encouragement and stuff like that. So that's one thing I wanted to like start off and give you respect for.
Thank you. I think that just stems from a little bit about that individual though, who's giving the negativity.
It's a reflection of them, right?
Yeah, it's their own insecurities and stuff.
Why do you think people are like, because like even like in a creative pursuit, somebody will see somebody doing something and maybe they're not quick to give a word of encouragement or a sign of respect. Maybe they're just like, oh, look at so and so. Like I'm sure people did it to you, bro. I'm sure people did it to me,
and way more than I even know about.
Oh, 100. There you go.
Right?
Oh, you're never gonna know.
No, I don't care. No.
What are you gonna really know? And at the end of the day, that can affect you. That because you gotta be in control of your mind, which. This is now where I want to really start because I'm going to start with the story, bro.
Okay.
Because there's so much that we could talk about with Matt because obviously with the real estate, with the podcasting, but I want to start with like Matt the individual. And there's a little story I have. So before before Corona hit, we were at a concert together, bro. We were at Palace, bro. Remember Palace? So fucking beauty time. Beautiful. That was ironically, and that was one of the last outings I had before shit just went off, man. So we were there and we were having a good conversation, bro. And I remember leaving that day and going, bro, this guy gets it, bro. Yeah. Like, you see what I see. I think you were going to LA or something, and you were about to go away.
Yeah.
And we were talking about networking and just being a good person. And then most importantly, we were talking about like the law of attraction and like thoughts become things.
Yeah.
So I remember my journey of like, because for me, bro, I'm interested in like pivotal moments in people's lives. And when like the light bulb comes on kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I saw and I talked to you about that, I was like, okay, I want to know about that. So that's where I kind of want to start with you, bro. Is like, where did you like come into like the law of attraction, like the power of the mind? In the words of Champagne Poppy, the power of the mind is not a joke.
Yeah.
Where did you like start developing that?
Honestly, I'd say several years. I've been self-developing for a while, but for me, it was a combination of the book Think and Grow Rich.
Okay. Yes, everybody's read that. Read that book.
And then The Secret on Netflix.
Oh, so you watched it on Netflix?
Yeah. I didn't read it. I watched The Secret.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is cool. And I started to dive in deeper and deeper and deeper. And like Bob Proctor, you know what I mean? Many different other people, and then I just started to, as I started to practice the law of attraction or like realize and learn about it.
Yeah.
It just started to pop up more and more in my life. So I'm like, okay, that in itself is law of attraction. I'm hearing more and more about this by the people I follow, people I want to be like.
And when about was that? Like how many years back?
It was 2016.
2016, bro. That's interesting because that was around the same time, bro.
Andy Frisella. I was listening to a podcast. It's called episode 106, I believe.
Well, this guy remembers the exact podcast.
Man, it changed my life, that podcast.
Well, I gotta take notes, guys.
Win the Day.
Win the Day.
Win the Day.
Okay, I feel like I heard this.
Yeah,
before.
just research Andy Frisella, Win the Day. It was his. He rebranded now, but his older podcast, I believe, it's episode 106, changed my life.
Change your life.
It's all about visualizing. It's like
visualizing is it's underneath. Like when you talk about the law of attraction, there's so many other things that you. And there's something I want to mention first, but I'm gonna get at you another beer, by the way, because we got to get some more beers here. So let me do that first here.
Okay.
Take over, Matt. Well done.
It's okay. You know, some people make mistakes sometimes, but it's okay. But it all comes down to what you believe in and how strongly you believe in achieving things. And if your own enemy is yourself. So if you have, your belief systems suck, you'll never get to where you want to be. But if you truly, truly believe and attach that to emotion and feeling of getting to where you want to be, like I'm going to be, for example, I'm going to own a Ferrari. If that doesn't resonate with you, if there's like there's like a barrier, if there's like a resistance to that thought, because you deep down think that you're not going to get it, then that's the work you got to put in to really release that resistance. Once you can have that thought and know that and truly believe and feel it, that, wow, I'm going to have a Ferrari. That's when you just keep saying it daily, repeating, writing it down. And ultimately, whether you actually manifest physically a Ferrari 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or it could be something else of that caliber, something of that nature will ultimately come into your life because
it's an aim.
You're wired, but your brain is always subconsciously looking for that. And it takes time. They say like set it and forget it. So like some people will start this thought process for like a couple days, couple weeks, and like fuck, it doesn't work.
Yes, bro, that's probably that's the overwhelming majority.
Yeah.
And like you were saying about the aim-oriented thing, because I think we're aim-oriented creatures, bro. Like from when we were in the hunter-gatherer stages, we had to aim. That's how you focus. Yeah. You aim on something and you're looking at it, and that's how you focus. So especially when it comes to, I guess, goal, when you're referencing like being goal-oriented. So that's another thing under the umbrella of law of attraction. There's like journaling, which I know that I see all the time on your Instagram. You're big on. So there's journaling, there's the visualization, there's the positives, the positive thinking. And a lot of people need to understand this quickly is it's not no like tree hugging hippie style. That's not my style at all. Yeah. I believe in thoughts become things. And that's the actual like consensus with the law of attraction. It's not that, oh, I just think something's good's going to happen and it's going to happen. No, you actually got to put in the work.
You have to put in the work.
To your point.
Yeah, you have to.
Set it and forget it, bro.
Like if you're sitting at home and you're like, I by 2028 I'm gonna have a Ferrari, but you're doing nothing.
You're doing nothing about it. What do you think is gonna happen?
There, like what's gonna But if you're putting in the work, like for example, this podcast, this leads to a sponsorship, right? This leads to
monetization.
You have someone catching catches their eye. You have a sick podcast on the guest a sick guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
You have a conversation afterwards. He says, "Hey man, by the way, I have this opportunity." Opens up a door. Now you have another source of income, just like that.
But you have
now you're partnering with this individual because he just likes you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, it does. But
it's not like all these opportunities can come if you're just in the right. Not you don't even have to be the right place, right time. Sometimes you
luck is a part of it a bit, but
it is.
you need to preparation is like a significant part of it.
You got to put in the work.
A lot of people, bro, this is what happens, right? They come across maybe somebody's Instagram or they come across something and they go, "Oh, look at this guy, blah blah blah," but they don't know the journey that it took to get to whatever it is that you're looking at or whatever you're seeing, because the journey is the silent part that nobody knows about. So to Matt's point is set it and forget it. I like that, actually. I really do like that, because these things don't happen overnight. It's the same thing with exercise. You see it all the time. You go into the gym 2 weeks, I don't see no results, and then you bounce. But this is an everyday process, and I think that the power of the mind in regards to like the law of attraction and this sort of thing, I think it's important.
Yeah, and you'll feel it. Like when it starts to click, you feel like you're on cloud 9 every day. Every day shit's working out. And for me, it was just, you also got to be conscious of everything too. Like always be aware of your surroundings. Always look out for little clues, signs, conversations you have with people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of random conversations are just it's a little bit of that push that it just tells you that, okay, I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
Some random. You know what I mean?
But those are sometimes the most useful and best conversations.
But it's all given to you for a reason.
Yeah.
If you listen.
Yeah, so you have to be open-minded enough to think like that.
Yeah.
And like that's how we even got on this with that conversation that we had at Palace. Then I was able to identify as like, okay, I understand that too, because I'm obviously on a similar type of journey in regards to develop, because I'm technically I tend towards to be more of a neurotic type of individual. So, but what are you supposed to do with that information? Just be like, okay, that's just the way it is. No, you have to be able to work on it, and it's an everyday grind, I feel, bro. And that's why you got to give respect where respect's due, because not everybody's willing to do that and put in that everyday type of work that it takes to control your mind, because that's the best part, is the thoughts become things. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
What you think is what you're going to believe. How would you not think of, how would that not make any sense? Do you think if that you're thinking about complete negative stuff, randomly good things are going to happen to you, like,
yeah,
or you're going to reach some sort of success, or you're going to surround yourself with the right people? No, like these things come from internal.
Yeah, and it's also programming too.
You have to. Yeah.
It's some people, unfortunately, it's not even our parents' fault or their parents' fault, but just the way we're raised. Like in our first 7 years of life, we're in like the theta phase with our brains, and we're a sponge, right? So we're soaking up everything we're surrounded by, and it could be good, it could be bad, and that sticks with us throughout our adulthood subconsciously, right?
Yeah.
But it takes time to reprogram certain thoughts and certain ways you think about things.
100%.
And you just need to, again, it comes down to just believing.
Yeah,
as soon as you believe that you're actually able to, like, who's Steve Jobs? Who's Elon Musk? Human beings. Same blood vein network that we have. Same bone structure we have.
Definitely.
Same brain we have.
Yeah.
But
well, maybe Elon Musk might be a little
Elon
bit.
Musk is probably an alien. Probably an
there's
alien.
suspicion that he is. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's remove Elon Musk from that.
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Right?
Superior athletes. These guys.
Yeah.
What do they do though? They're knuckle draggers. They put in the work, and I love that shit.
Consistency. That's all it is.
I love that shit.
It's just getting up every day and fighting those thoughts in your head that are saying, "Oh, I can't do it. I'll give up."
Yes.
And those thoughts, as time persists, they go away.
They do, or they subside.
They
right?
do.
You
and
get more
positive thoughts take over.
Yeah, exactly. Or because you've trained your mind to think it. It's like that's what the law of attraction is in a nutshell. It's like, okay, I'm going to control my mind. I'm going to control how I'm thinking. Okay, because you have to be able to, you got to be able to control your mind. So it's like, okay, I want to go to the gym. I want to do these sorts of things. But in your mind's going to say, just give up. It's not going to work. It's not going to pull through. Then that's when you have to come in.
That's your ego.
Yeah, that's your ego, bro. And then that's where you have to control that. And that's why I'm so interested in these pivotal moments in people's lives, bro. Even like athletes and stuff. I'll always like go back and like look to see like where did it begin? Like where did that transition happen?
Yeah.
Because there has to be.
Yeah.
A transitional period where someone starts to say, okay, I gotta change this. I'm gonna fix this.
I'll tell you like mine.
Yeah.
Beginning real estate, I had, so the way I see shit, this is like my life philosophy.
Yeah, let's hear it.
If someone's telling you can't do things, so whenever you feel the most resistance in a certain area, that is that's when you need to go.
Yeah, that's where the growth is, essentially.
That's where you need to go.
The uncomfortability.
Yes. So for me, when I first started my business, I love my family to death, but a lot of them, I can just tell it, like, real estate, come on, like, you know, why don't you work your way up in Best Buy, or why don't you, you know, get into this trade or this. But you know,
sometimes it's like,
no, guys.
Yeah, exactly. They're just they're trying to look
help.
for your best interest.
It's all from the heart. It's all from love. But to me, I could have just taken that and be like, oh yeah, you're right. I can't do this shit. Yeah. And I just could have, you know, went that way. But to me, I always stay conscious of the fact that, okay, I'm getting resistance here. I'm going to go even harder. So I've done that my whole life. And with real estate, like, it's like I'm a young dude. Who's going to buy a house off me? Who's going to sell their house with me?
When about was that?
I had no background in business. I never took a business course.
Yeah, these are things that I wanted to ask you as well. Yeah. Were you always an entrepreneurial type, or did you have to develop that?
It developed.
You had to develop it, eh?
Oh, man, I was completely different.
Were you a communicator? Were you a shy guy when you were young?
Very shy.
Were you? So that's amazing, bro, because there was that. It's a big transition.
You saw me in high school.
Yeah, I did, of course, but I don't remember you being like super shy. I always just remember
started to come out of my shell.
You and all the boys were just like, we're just guys like us, you know, like
just chilling.
We're just like good guys. Like they're just good guys. You don't. It's just like, you just see you cut from the same cloth kind of thing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But obviously you were shy. You had to not be shy.
Yeah. Barbering helped me.
Barbering helped you. Yes.
That was a hobby. Shout out to Gabriel Pavonen, by the way. My first ever haircut.
Was it your first
Forced
haircut?
me to cut his hair.
So like that, did he? So
yeah, he forced me. Not I got picked it up one day. And it's like, I'm going to start cutting hair. He's like, please come over, shave my head. And then our buddy Eric's like, hey, I don't want to go pay for a haircut. Please cut my hair. I'm like, okay. And like, you know, I had the knack for it. Then it just kind of flourished.
But it's still a skill that you had to develop.
It was, and I took the time to learn.
But then it transitioned into... Then it gave you that entrepreneurial mindset, because then you monetized it in a way you had to figure out, like, what am I going to do? I
had a little epiphany. I'm like, wow, I can work for myself. I can actually take control of my own life. At that moment, I realized that. Because before that, I was always just waiting to find a job or find a career where
Which
I
is like any young man,
get an interview.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm like, shit, there's so much power in working for yourself. So I also took a year off university. I was working landscaping, and I used to get reamed. Like my boss there would just yell at me top of his lungs daily, making $13 an hour. I'm like, I can't deal with this shit, you know? So I went to one extreme there, which I'm happy I did, because I made a pact with myself that day. I'm like, I am never working for someone again. Yeah. So
that experience was a gift to you.
It was a gift. Then my mom, because she's rented her whole life with me, single mom, finally went to go purchase a house. And she's like, Matt, come to the showing with me. I want to show you this house I'm going to buy. So I'm like, okay, a little lazy, honestly, but I'm like, fuck it, I'll come. The guy, real estate agent, pulls up in his Mustang.
How old were you at this point?
23.
Okay.
24.
Okay, perfect, yeah.
Yeah, the guy pulls up in his Mustang. He's showing the house. I'm like, this is what this guy does? You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, seems pretty good.
Do you know who that is now?
You know what? I've never heard of him since.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think his name is Mark. But I'm seeing him doing his job. At the time, I had like over 200 hair clients. So I'm like, okay, I have this network. I've developed this ability to adapt and talk to all types of individuals, age, doesn't matter what their age was, background, ethnicity, culture. I can adapt. Yeah. I'm like a sponge. So I'm like, maybe I give this real estate shit a try, right? So I started researching, okay, how do they get paid? It's commission-based. I'm like, yeah, it's a little scary because nothing set, nothing guaranteed.
You don't get a weekly
salary.
Yeah, 100%.
If I'm not selling anything, I'm not making any money. But that also interested me too, because they gave me the idea of no ceiling. Right? If I want to go out and make $1 million a year, I could.
Yeah, how hard you work is how much you can get paid.
So I'm like, okay, I'm totally in control in this field. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to give this a go. So I graduated university. I got my history degree. I was going to teach. Sorry, the beer's making me burpy.
The Bud Light will do that to you. Shout out to Post Malone.
Shout out Bud Light. Shout out Bubbles.
Shout out to Bud Light. Throw me a sponsorship if you're down.
Hurry up. before fucking Canada Dry takes over.
We got an empty table here, so let's fill it up.
MGD might pull up, so
that's it.
Just hurry up.
Yeah, and I got a guy who's in for MGD. So
that's another law of attraction story.
Yeah, is it?
So we
gotta get into it.
That was it, man. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not really gonna go anywhere with this history degree. I'm like, I know pretty cool facts now. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, Greek gods and shit.
Yeah.
Well, not really taking me anywhere.
History. I bet you use it somehow, somewhere in the subconscious.
Yeah, I do.
In the subconscious.
Maybe when I'm working out, trying to look like Zeus, but
absolute beauty.
But that was it. I started the real estate game. I luckily, things kind of unfolded. I got into with some really good connections. Picked up on a very amazing mentor, Joe Daddio. Shout out to Joe. Taught me everything. Still with him to this day. And I haven't looked back since, man. So I had to the best thing I've ever done. I'm the happiest I can be, to be honest.
So that landscaping job was a gift to you because you realized, fuck this, I'm not doing it. And then also barbering was a gift to you because you realized I can do this.
Bro, shit just worked out.
Yeah.
I'm super grateful for it.
But you had to put in the work. You still had to pick up the shovel. No pun intended. You know what I mean?
And I kind of live, my girlfriend hates when I say this, but I'm very go with the flow because I feel like I'm a big believer in that things will work out how they should.
Yeah, yeah. Good or bad?
I don't like to plan too much in advance because, you know, you set this plan for yourself, but there's so much shit that can change in between. Mm-hmm. You may not even end up there. And then all it does is it just gives you more anxiety. It causes you to like feel like you're failing. Like I just like the open idea of the unknown and just trusting the process.
So you focus on the immediate, like short term. So to speak.
Just today, man.
Just today. Like
just
what's
today.
in front of you?
I have my short-term goal. Short-term goals. I have stupid.
Do you write goals?
Always, yeah.
Do you?
I have them everywhere in my condo. Sticky notes.
Oh, you want of those? Eh? I like that shit.
I have sticky notes everywhere.
On the mirrors and stuff.
People come over. They're like, "Why are there sticky notes? Like all these pink notes in your bedroom? Like,
are they small goals or big goals, or short-term goals or long-term, or just both?
I have my biggest goals right beside my bed. Yeah. They're stupid, bro. Like they're not like I'll get them one day.
Yeah, but they're big. They're
big because
you have to dream big.
Even if I fall short, I'm still doing great. Mm-hmm. So they're huge.
But you got to aim up, bro.
Yeah.
You got to aim up.
Yeah, you 10x it. Yeah. Like I have multiple stickies. Right as soon as I wake up, first thing I see is boom, this amount of money, this other goal, this other thing I want in my life, and this. And then, you know, I'm a big like visualizer, meditator. I've not gonna lie, I've fallen off recently.
Meditating is one of those things that it can get difficult, man. It can be strenuous. Yeah.
I've definitely fallen off recently. I'm not some fucking guru, but it does work, and I have seen the benefits of it. And when you start to align with a certain visualization that you feel is right, like I drew out a whole house. I have a whole floor plan drawn out.
Good for you,
bro. Like a future house for me. I don't know where it'll be. Yeah. I just kind of know like the vibe. And
yeah, but you know, you're identifying what it is that you want. Yeah. And at least then you can work towards that, which a lot of people, they don't do. But the visualization is key because that's obviously that's a part of the law of attraction. That's a part of these things. But that's a good story, bro. I didn't know much of that, and that's why I wanted to kind of get into that to see how these journeys take place because I find them so interesting, bro. I find them so interesting how all these avenues lead you to where you are, and then kind of things happen for you. That's the more the law of attraction.
Life happens for you,
and that's good or bad too, right? Because a lot of times something bad might happen to you, and then it's like, oh fuck, what the fuck do you do? But life can be like that though.
You have to,
and that's what we need to understand. And when I'm saying this, I'm also saying this to myself too, right? Yeah. Because I'm learning, bro, and I'm always going to be learning. Yeah. But when good or bad happens to you, then that's up to you now. So, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to respond to this? Yeah. And I'm sure you encountered that along the way, right?
Bro, so many failures.
Like failures, down things. But would you not say that you probably learned the most from those 100%. Things? 100%.
And I'm still feeling a lot of shit. But I mean, I'm confident, and I'm a big believer that I come out of it even stronger. Like I will never let anything defeat me. Although I may like reach a certain point where it's like, fuck, I'm on a low right now. Mm-hmm. But I'm just confident, like, okay, give myself like a week, 2 weeks, I'm right back. And I'm stronger now.
What would be like some of the failures, like personal failures or like business?
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah. See, that's good though. A little bit of everything is good. Because I truly believe, to your point, like you said earlier, is where you're gonna learn the most is through those uncomfortable times, through those times of stress. Yeah. That's where like a lot of things are uncomfortable. This in itself can be uncomfortable, but do you know how much you learned? Like, would you not say how much would you have learned from those uncomfortable experiences, including podcasting? Like, think about how much you probably learned from that.
Just like the barbering, podcasting has given me has opened so many doors that I would not even have even known about, man. Like, some of the guests you bring on are just like, wow, I used to watch this guy on TV, you know, or I used to listen to this guy on the radio, or it's like it's all, and the benefits of it is like the conversations you have after, like those people become friends. You're not just talking to someone, you're diving in deep into their life, and they're not having these conversations daily with just another Joe Schmo. Yeah. So you're having to sit down. The bond is created between you two is just next level. Yeah, like you may not even get this with some of your acquaintances. Yeah, right. So the bond and the friendship that's taken from just a general podcast after the fact. Never dies. Yeah. And it's amazing.
And it's the power of conversation.
Yeah, it's huge.
What seems to be a pillar of how you maneuvered through life, which is being from barber, because people underestimate the skills that are required to be a barber. Like you have to have conversations for 30 minutes, whatever the haircut is, multiple times a day with multiple different people. So that skill set that you picked up from there that transfers directly into podcasting.
Yeah.
Because you're having a I was talking to my barber about this the other day. We were having a good conversation like about just like the past ups and downs and all that shit. Yeah. I'm like, bro, that's a podcast right there. It's literally a podcast right there because you're essentially, that's what you're doing as a barber, right?
Yeah.
And that skill transferred over automatically into the real estate. So that's fucking cool as fuck how it all works out. And then especially now with the podcasting and stuff. How about you? Who do you listen to? Like, who are some of the podcasters that you listen to, or maybe influences that you look up to? Or
Ed Milet.
Okay, I got it.
Ed Milet show.
As I'm editing, I'll write these down and I'll check them out too because I'm always up to new material.
Yeah. He is fucking sick, man. At my lad, there's Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory.
Impact Theory, yeah.
Andy Frisella's obviously dope. I'll dive off into some random ones, but those are I guess my top 3.
How about outside of the self-development motivational side? Do you like who else do you
just real estate stuff? I do a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah, I love audiobooks.
In terms of just let's just say when I'm just bored and I want to play something in the background. The Full Send podcast, Nelk Boys.
Yeah, they're doing well, man. They're doing
very genius,
and they're from Toronto too, guys.
Saga,
Celebrate
man.
Your surroundings. I talked about
Saga.
this. I talked about this when I was talking about Drake on one of my earlier episodes. It's celebrate your surroundings, man.
Yeah,
Mississauga. Yeah, they're from Mississauga, bro.
Yeah,
it's amazing to see.
And impulsive.
Impulsive too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. You know what it is about impulsive? It's interesting. Is that a lot of people they tend to hate right away on Logan Paul and Jake Paul, but once you watch a podcast, you start to get a better respect and a sense of who that person actually is.
Logan's a smart ass dude.
Logan's a smart ass dude, bro, and he's interesting.
He articulates really well.
He is, and he's just he's a good old boy. He's just a straight up guy. That's what he is, and that's what you see on that podcast. And it is they do a really good job, bro.
Yeah.
It's very authentic. I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and the other co-hosts too. I think George is fucking funny.
Yeah,
I think George was a good addition.
Yeah,
and then Mike too. I like Mike as well.
He's good to keep the conversation flowing, but that shit inspires me too, right?
Yeah, you look up to that. And it's kind of in the back burner of this is something I want to aim towards. This is a goal that I would like to have too. It all transfers well. But anybody else that fires you up, that gets you go? Who was when you were coming up? Did you ever have somebody that you looked up to?
Andy for sure. Andy Frisella.
Andy Frisella?
Yeah. He's just a G.
Yeah.
Love that guy. And Alan Watts, rest in peace. Massive influence in my life.
Yeah, really, eh?
He's definitely, you guys will recognize his voice. You may not know him by name, but you know his voice sure.
I know a lot of people by the voice and then just by the way they look, because I watch a lot of podcasts.
Quotes.
Do you?
Yeah, we'll consider it modern day philosopher, theologist, I believe.
Yeah.
Really, this guy's mind is just next level. One of the minds of our century. Of our modern time. The lectures, people have taken his lectures, and they diced it up into.
Does he have full lectures
parts.
online?
Yeah, you can.
I love that.
I have his books too, man.
Yeah.
He resonates with the kind of the Buddhist belief systems.
Yeah, Buddhists say life is suffering.
Yeah,
that's one of the things they say.
Which is kind of what I resonate a little bit with too. But people take his clips from his things and they put into those motivational videos on YouTube. So the ones that have 10 million, 20 million views.
Yeah.
It's Alan Watts' voice.
Yeah.
Over a 6
Okay,
song.
so I heard it 100%.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. I guaranteed.
Yeah.
He's a G-man, and just some of the shit he says really puts shit into perspective, with life, death, all that kind of stuff. So,
what's that like? That is.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson, another guy. He's living.
There's some notes for you guys.
Astrophysicist. There's a video on YouTube I would watch every morning. It's called The Most Astounding Fact. It's about 10 minutes. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's something he says with, again, 6 song.
Yeah. Oh, you got to put that
in. It motivates the fuck out of you.
Yeah, 100%. And it's interesting you say that because that's, you said 2016. So around 2016 is when I started to dabble with that stuff too. It was actually so Conor McGregor, bro.
Oh yes.
Was my first kind of guy that I saw. I was like, yo, what's this guy doing? I was in a state of my mind where I was a little bit yearning for some sort of encouragement and that kind of thing too. So I saw him, but then more importantly, other than than the fighting and his skills back then, was he used to talk about the law of attraction a lot. So I'd watch a lot of YouTube videos about the Mulligan brothers is one of them. They do a lot of motivational stuff. And what I would do was I would listen to it while I was at the gym. And I would do that all the time for a year. And I would just, as I'm working out my body, I was also working out my mind.
Yes.
Which I feel like a lot of guys, I feel like a lot of people, they neglect that in a sense. Like it's like if you injured your knee, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go see my buddy Ant Cubs for some physiotherapy.
Shout out Ant Cubs.
Shout out Ant Cubs. That's what you're gonna do. But if you're not staying on top of or taking care of your mind, you can't just neglect that. A lot of people do.
Your brain's a muscle.
Yeah, it definitely is. A lot of people do neglect that, and we have these resources like YouTube, bro. Holy fuck, can you do how many things you can do from YouTube, eh?
Yeah,
it all starts there.
I'm on YouTube every day. I just
all the time
because the algorithm knows what you like. So I just love seeing what pops up. I'm always watching new shit.
Yeah, the algorithm's watching you, bro.
It is.
I will say, but usually most of the time I'm just on the homepage anyway. I just on the homepage,
more than enough.
Looking at related videos and just doing that exact thing the whole time. So shout out to YouTube, and audiobooks and those things are all transferable to what it is that we're talking about today. The spoken word is as powerful as the written word nowadays.
Yes,
because we think about I still like to read too, just to keep that skill going, but I can digest that audiobook way quicker than I can than a written book.
You can drive. You can't read and drive.
Yeah, you can't read and drive. You can't do chores and drive.
I'm always on the road, so for me, like to get my reading in,
you throw it on, you just listen to it. Yeah, exactly. Do you journal and stuff too? Is that one of the things you derive from it? Like how's that?
Yeah. So in the morning, I don't even know how I came to journaling. What influenced me for that?
Because I see you guys do the 5-minute journals a lot too. What's that about?
Yeah. So it's just it's literally everything you need. It literally takes 5 minutes, and it's a great start to your day. Starts off with a quote, and I'm a believer in actually writing things.
Yeah, you have to.
Right.
Writing is actually how a lot of people think. That's how you organize your mind.
Exactly.
You're writing your thoughts, and then you're able to like articulate them properly.
Yeah, like journaling's powerful. Like even if you just want to like kind of figure out why you're feeling a certain way, you just talk to yourself about it through writing, and you look at it, and you're like, it's all on that paper, and you're like, wow, okay, I get it now. But 5-minute journal is, start off with 3 things you're grateful for.
Okay, perfect.
Right? So start off your day with gratitude. Some people may wake up and be like, fuck, I gotta go to work, or shit, I hate this job, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but you're also grateful you have a home, grateful you have a great family, grateful you have a good wife, husband, right? Kids, whatever it is. So it's not the end of the world because you have a lot of good shit going on. So like starts off with the gratitude, and then starts off with 3 things that would make today great. So what would make today great? If this happened, this happened, this happened. So that's kind of like where I kind of apply that to law of attraction.
Yeah, 100%.
And I say things as they're already happening. So what would make today great? When I do this, when this happens, although it hasn't happened yet. And then the last 2 parts are 2 affirmations. So 2 I am statements.
Yeah, okay.
I always write the same ones. So I'm writing down the same shit daily. And then...
do you miss these as well?
Not too often.
Not too often.
No, I'm actually really fucking regimented with that.
Yeah,
shit.
which that takes time in itself.
It's a habit.
You make it a habit. It's like
I can't leave my condo unless I write in my journal.
Yeah, it's that. It becomes like it's almost in your gut. It's like a thing. Like it's in the back of your mind every day. Yeah. So I gotta bang that out because I do that too. So I journal as well, but I have 2 types of journal. I have one. It's called the Daily Stoic. It's something I post about. I
love stoicism.
Yeah, Stoicism. It's the best way.
Ryan Holiday.
Yeah. It's the idea that whatever you don't have control over, you don't have control over the external. Don't invest your energy in that. And then obviously just improvising, adapting, and overcoming to anything that comes your way. But obviously it's very in depth. But I'll read that daily, the Daily Stoic, and then what I'll do is I'll journal about that passage for the day, and I'll interpersonalize it. So I'll do that, and then on top of that, then I just regular journal, like just things you're grateful for, shit like that. And I found that helped a lot too.
Do you write your goals in there?
I see the thing with me is I haven't been one to write too many goals because I got a problem, Matt. Sometimes I get overwhelmed. Like if I feel like I have an obligation that this thing needs to be done right now, or this needs to be done by the next week, I somewhat get it. So I have like more of a broad sense.
Are these goals. Are those like really short-term goals then?
No, they're more like, okay, I want to start this podcast. What am I going to, that's a goal of mine. I wanted to start the podcast. How did I put it together? You put that together. Okay, I want to make this achievement athletically. Okay, how am I going to do that? So I kind of break it down into big goals, like into sub goals, which is a good way to achieve goals, right?
What if you reframe it?
Like how?
So instead of I want to start this podcast, it's like, I have the best podcast in the world.
See, so now we're getting back to the law of attraction. That's exactly the way of thinking. Yeah.
So I have the best podcast in the world. And then once you literally believe in that, just go about your shit, man. Believe that it'll come.
Yeah.
Like just trust that process in between. Don't get too carried. Don't get too discouraged or anxious about like all the in-betweens.
Yeah, which I tend to do.
Yeah, because I think that'll kill you.
Yeah, it does. It's a strength.
It'll let it unfold. You know what I mean? You can have like little like just kind of guidelines on like a direction, but like that's the way I operate.
I like to
everyone's
operate
different. Also,
yeah, no, 100%.
Not saying this is the bread and butter of how shit works. That's just the way I operate. I operate on like massive ass goals.
Yeah.
Coming to grips with actually believing that shit's actually possible.
Yeah.
And then I just fucking surrender.
How do you believe that it's possible? What do you think the steps are to get towards?
It takes time. It takes time. Like it comes with just confidence in yourself. It comes with actually seeing things working out.
Yeah. So what happens to the person that maybe it's not working out? Where do you think they derive that inspiration from, that motivation from?
When things are really
like, let's say they're on a bad streak, bro. Let's say they're on a bad streak.
It happens.
Yeah.
You gotta stick through it. You gotta stick through it. Even like when you're in like a bad streak, just go get a small win somewhere.
Yeah. And you know
go find a small win somewhere.
A lot of the time it's happening to people, like small wins and those type of things. Like to your point about the journaling, bro, is, you know, I hate this job, you were saying, like this and that or whatever it is, but a lot of people, they neglect the abundance that they actually do have in front of them at that particular time. And this is where I'm guilty, is you'll tend to zone in on that one little negative thing or that one thing that you want but you don't have yet, and this sort of thing. But
that's a common thing with people.
It's very common.
That's what social media does. It is those practices day in and day out that become habits, and they all apply to the overall spectrum of your mindset. Yeah, to the overall goal of what it is, whatever it is that you're trying to do. So yeah, the goal setting, I feel, is important. I don't write exactly what it is, but what I do is I'm more broad in the sense. But yeah, man, I'll consider that and try to make those adjustments, which a lot of it is improvising, adapting, and overcoming. But you come to believe it. Yeah, it takes time. Like I'll tell you just another small story. Yeah, go for it. In my real estate, first thing I did was buy a whiteboard. I had a shitty ass office in my office in the back corner, I love it. I love walking in there daily now, and like I started here. Yeah. No windows, nothing grimy. You know? Where are you situated now? A much better office. Oh, stepping it up. But my belief systems, I've been shattering every year. So my first one, for example, I put 100K on the board. 100K. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, okay. I wish one day I can make this, you know, it'd be nice. But you're looking at it, you wrote it down, you look at it. It's on my whiteboard in my office. Yeah. But it's like, I didn't believe in it. You know what I mean? It was just there. I look at it every day, I'm like, I feel like, why am I even doing myself this service? You know, like, I'm happy with maybe if I'm 50, discouraging 60. Myself. Yeah, I'm like, that'd be nice. But I'm like, maybe I should get more realistic. Maybe I should drop that down a little bit, you know? And ultimately, end up hitting it, right? And then the next year, I'm like, fuck it. Okay, that worked. Me double that. Me add more. So as my years have progressed, I like break into that initial barrier. Yeah. Just allowed that one small belief system in terms of a financial aspect of my life to be shattered. And now I'm able to just throw a fucking crazy ass number on my board and somehow believe I'll hit that one day, right? And all the work I'm putting in now will lead me to that. So it's just that emotion, the belief. There's like the power behind that, because like your body, like your brain doesn't know what's real and what's not. Yeah. Right? Your consciousness doesn't know what's real and what's not. So if you're telling your mind all the time that I have $100 million in my bank account, I'm this, I have an amazing family, this and this. It doesn't know what's actually reality or what's not. But you're telling yourself that every day. Yeah. And that's a lot of things that you need to stay there for the long run, though. Yeah. People, guys, don't freaking do something for 20 minutes and then just stop. Oh, it's a long game. Yeah. I've been since 2016. Yeah. You know and now you start to see the things. But even if I fall short of that, bro, I'm happy. It's okay. Yeah. It's totally okay. Because guess what? You're going to get up and then fucking do it again. Yeah. That's why I make them so dumb. I make them so stupid, these numbers, that it's like, even if I fall short, I'm good. So that's what works for me. Honestly, everyone's different. You got to find what kind of works for you, and you'll know deep down it starts to feel right. Yeah, 100%. And it starts to excite you. But let's talk a little bit about your journey with podcasting and stuff, because I want to kind of know about that. Like, how did you decide that, you know what, I'm going to use my barbering skills that I've learned from the communicative aspect of it, and then also the real estate skills that I want to use, and then exacerbate my personality and make a podcast? Like, how did that journey start? It was pre-COVID. I was traveling a lot, meeting a lot of different people, opening up my mind. Where were some places you were traveling to? Tulum? Yeah. Tulum was the most life-changing experience for me. I still got to go, bro. It's maybe a little different now.
I'm gonna come with you next time.
Hey man, I'm in.
Tulum.
I went before it got too commercialized. It was in October of 2019. Some may argue me on that the commercialized part, but my experience then was not too many tourists at the time. Very raw. Mm-hmm. The energy there is just nuts. It's just a thriving area. Like you feel it when you're walking on the earth. You know
I've seen the pictures and everything there. It looks beautiful.
It's an ancient area. Like all those all those pyramids are there. Like it's a hot
pyramids
spot.
there, bro.
It's like an energy center.
Really?
Yeah,
and is it like one section?
It's all Mayan.
Yeah?
It's very small. Tulum's very small.
Okay. So
just experiencing that culture and just the nature and the beauty behind it and everything about it was just such like a really motivating and awakening experience. Just being there in the presence of like that. That resonates with me.
That's the power of experience.
I'm a spiritual dude, so that shit really resonates with me. Just like the smells, the sights, the people, everything.
That's why it's important to travel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So me and my boy Zoe, shout out to him. We're just shooting the shit. We're having fucking pina coladas in the pool. Everyone was at the. I was still doing some work. Everyone's at the beach, and we're getting ripped by mosquitoes. By mosquitoes. So we're like, he'd talk, he'd pop his head out of the pool. I'd go under and try and listen, so I'm not getting ripped. He'd get ripped while
it was talking. That bad.
Oh yeah. I'd go up, get destroyed by mosquitoes. He'd go under the water. So this is how we're having this conversation with our pina coladas.
They don't have no bug spray there. You got to pour vodka all over yourself.
Bug spray didn't work. That time of year is bad. We're just talking about like, man, like a lot of people come to us for advice or help or like, want ideas and shit like that. It's like there's not a podcast in Toronto yet.
No, you're right, bro. There wasn't.
At the time, there wasn't. No. Like, why don't we become like hosts of a podcast and let's see what we can bring on some guests in the city. And like you said before, everyone sees the wins on social media. No one sees the journeys that people took to get there.
Yes.
So it's like, why don't we bring on some of these guests and let's just dig into like the hard ass times they had getting to where they're at.
Yes.
Just to inspire like some younger guy out there, girl out there, or someone who's maybe looking to get into that specific field, that it's okay and it takes time and it's not gonna happen overnight. So some people don't even try shit because like, oh, I can never get there. Yeah. But they'll never know that guy who was there failed, man.
Well, look at the conversation we're having right now, bro.
Yeah.
Like look at all the pivotal and changing and avenues that you went through to kind of get it.
And look at the platform. We're on a podcast. So we're like, fuck it, let's do it. No idea what the hell we're doing. We shot our first video in February on my birthday in 2019.
Literally on your birthday?
February 2020, pre-COVID.
Oh, okay.
That was our first episode. And then COVID hit. And we're like, wow, okay, this is perfect. Now we have a bit of a platform.
You capitalized on
that. And we started
too.
to just kind of kept growing, learning, failing as we went. And we sucked in the beginning, man. It fucking sucked. But now it's like it's just a fun time, and we have some pretty big guests, and that was it. And again, like we're not making $1 off it, right?
You're not profiting from it. You did it.
We're spending a lot of money on that shit.
Yeah, I could tell. It's well put together, and this is called It's Simple Podcast.
It's Simple Podcast, yeah. So we drop, some pretty good money on that shit, but it's not even about the money for me. It's more the fulfillment. Like we get several messages a week of someone reaching out saying, "Hey, man, this really influenced me.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, I love this episode. I was going through this and this in my life, and this really helped me get out of it. So thank you." Like that's the shit that gets me going. You know what I mean? I don't care to make money off it. I don't care.
So yeah, but eventually, no matter what, it's
that's like anything.
100%. But so like you be saying before that you were like technically a shy guy when you're growing up. What made you want to get into like a creative aspect, like something like podcasting, putting yourself out there?
It could be that. Like what you just said, could be the fact that I was shy and I feel like I have a lot of making up to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm making up a lot of ground from how I was as a kid, and being out there and being like bigger on the socials and really putting myself out there. I'm the total opposite.
Yeah.
But that to me, maybe it's something I have to prove to myself.
100%. Right? And that's good because a lot of people don't understand is that we by if you have something that you're maybe necessarily afraid of or that you want to make up for, like you're saying, is that facing it voluntarily and courageously is exactly how you grow and get better, and that's how you're going to overcome it rather than running away from it. Like it's a nerve-wracking process. And I'm sure you felt those sense of nerves and stuff when you're putting it together, putting it out. And that's another thing I wanted to ask you is like, how did you deal with that thought of like, what are people going to think about me? Because that's a big thing that comes with this sort of thing.
Luckily, at that time of my life, I was pretty good at blocking that shit out.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, there was obviously a point that you had to encounter that, right?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the more you do things and the more you grow and the bigger you get and whatever you're doing, it's just natural to receive hate.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it.
But even like your own mind though, like your mind saying, "Oh, what if this person said?" Did you have those thoughts?
See what I'm talking right now?
Yeah.
I accept it. It's like that stoic in me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
That's a good example of being stoic. Is like facing something that makes you uncomfortable or nervous, and then just being stoic through it.
Dude, I don't care. Like for me, it's if I focus my energy on shit, what are people gonna think about me, versus focusing my energy on how am I gonna make this podcast better?
Yes.
I'd lose.
See, that's a transitional point though.
Yeah.
Where like, because human instinct is like, anxiety is there to protect you guys, right? So like, you feel anxious about something. This is like coming from personal experience too. Is like, you feel anxious about something, and it's like, okay, you got to get away from it because you're gonna get hurt. Like, or maybe you're thinking about something happened in the past or something like that, and the anxiety is there to somewhat protect you, but it shouldn't stop you.
No,
it shouldn't stop you, and it's good to focus on the internal rather than the external.
Yeah. And if someone wants to, talk badly or hate on something, I mean, like I said before, that just speaks volumes to their character and who they are as a person. For them to go and waste their energy on hating on someone else's efforts says a lot about that person.
Yeah, and probably maybe it's something deriving from maybe they did
their own insecurities.
Yes, they
there's a lot of there's envy out there. It's a human thing.
This is human. Yeah, you can't take it
personal. People are gonna be envious. No, you can't take it personal. I mean, like that person might be going through something, right? I'll never argue with anyone. I've never received blunt, straightforward to my face hate ever. Maybe heard of some shit in the background, but like I don't care. That shit fuels me.
That's good, bro. And I think that's the mind state that's gonna orient you towards abundance, success, and all this sort
the amount of positivity that's come out of it,
more positive than negative, always
supersedes everything. It supersedes everything. So like, even if I ever hear of one negative comment that was said directly about me, myself as an individual on that podcast, I have 30 times more positive things to just tell that thing to fuck you,
And that's why we should be focusing on that rather than that one thing.
Exactly.
That's amazing, bro. I love that because that's something that's very useful for people, I think, and anybody that listening to this, definitely you can have that negative, like you tend to think negatively, but man, just going through it. So that's the It's Simple podcast. Then let's talk a little bit about Price to Sell podcast, because I gave you a compliment about this before, and I think it's very, very good that you're doing that, because real estate is such an interesting thing to me now, because it's intertwined with the content creation now. Like you have the real estate jargon with Matt, like the things you post, that's amazing. Good ideas. Yeah. That's a good creative. People get to see your personality on that too. So talk a little bit about like the Price to Sell podcast.
So like I'm just myself on the socials. That's the big thing, just being authentic.
That's important, yeah.
And I was hit up by Neighborhood Creative, my good buddies there, Ernesto, Anthony, Anna.
Shout out to Ernesto.
They calls me. He's like, Matt, we're gonna do a real estate podcast. We want you to be the host. I'm like, fuck. I gotta balance this now too. He's like, just fuck off.
Just do it.
I'm not giving you an option. You're doing this. I was like, all right, I'll adapt, because that's how I am. Like, fuck it, let's do it. I'll adapt. Like, I have so much shit on my plate, but whatever, let's do it. Thank God they're an amazing team. They take care of a lot of the workload. But again, I went into this thing not knowing what am I gonna get out of this? Who's my target audience? What am I trying to capture here? So I'm like, let's just go with the flow. I helped book some guests, and man, what a success this thing has been.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
That's amazing, bro.
Like the amount of actual downloads, like not listens, people actually downloading the episode and keeping it on their phone. The amount of real estate agents that have followed me now, reached out. The amount of people on the streets.
They're networking, brother.
Dude, the amount of people on the streets that have come up to me and are like, you're the real estate guy?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Bro, all the time. I was at Spacho downtown eating, and some guy hesitantly came up to me, pulled his mask, and I was like, you're Matt, right? I'm like, guys, I'm a big fan. I'm like, what?
Stop, yeah. That's amazing.
In my head, I'm like, I'm nobody. But he's like, I'm a big fan. I'm like, sick, man. He's like, yeah, your Price to Sell podcast. I love it.
Is he a real estate agent, or is he looking to get into it?
He was quitting.
Oh, okay.
He was about to quit real estate.
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, that's why he came up to me. He's like, I had to come talk to you because you changed my life. He's like, I listened to your shit, inspired me to keep going. He's like, I was literally about to quit. I heard one of your episodes, and now I'm back in it.
Wow.
And he's like, do you mind maybe we can exchange contact information? I'd love to have a chat with you. I'm like, buddy, 1,000%.
That's a great story, man.
Yeah. So I've had so many, and that was in person, but I've had so many shit come to the DMs. Again, I don't give a shit about if it's monetizing or not, but it's the impact that it's
But that
giving.
one story in my opinion, is good, is enough for that whole, the strenuous, like the addition to your workload and everything. It's worth it.
So it's becoming one of the top podcasts in the city and again, I had no idea this was going to be the route it was taking, but it is becoming an educational podcast for realtors, especially new realtors starting out. The majority of my audience is brand new realtors, maybe a year in, 6 months in,
of course,
or just about to get their license.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them, man. So our traction has been really good, and that's become the niche now. So I'm really honing in and focusing on all these episodes and bringing on guests to really help out the starting out realtors, the realtor, inspiring realtors, or the realtors who might be suffering a little bit. These episodes have really helped people, man. I get tagged all the time, people in their car listening to the episodes.
Love that, bro.
So it's been, again, like, it was just thrown at me. I was like, all right, let's do it. And it's becoming a thing.
Yeah, good for you, bro. And may an upwards, up and upwards may it go on, because there's so many young kids. Imagine when you were starting out, if you had a podcast to kind of go, let me get this information from, they're from the same area, or I kind of heard of this person. Yeah. Let me tag in and see what can I take from this. So imagine how many young up and comers would probably want to, listen to that to kind of learn from. What would you give? What would be some of your advice to give to like young and up and coming realtors right now, like in the city or
young agents?
Yeah.
Listen to Price to Sell podcast.
Listen to Price to Sell podcast, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And while you're there, sign up to a Couple Casuals podcast too. We'll take care of you as well.
Do a Couple Casuals and Price to Sell at the same time.
But no, for real, they could fucking derive a lot of inspiration from that, and then advice too, because you guys dive into everything, right? Everything that you need to know.
I keep it really niche now. So every realtor I bring on is different in a way.
You're getting all.
I don't bring on the same shit. I bring on, this guy specializes in this. So it's only 30-minute chats on every agent that comes on, and I bring on investors too. So I like to bring on real estate investors, and I bring on just random guys sometimes, like Daniel G, whoever may know who he is. A fucking fireball of energy. He's a sales coach. He came on and just ripped me apart.
Yeah,
great.
Did he?
Fantastic, the best. So I mean, just try and give little value adds here and there, and then just kind of go with the flow, right? See what happens. But if you're an inspiring agent, find a mentor. Join a team and just find someone who is where you want to be and do exactly what they do.
Yeah, and people that are successful, more than like the haters might say, is people that are successful, majority of time what they want to do is help somebody who's up and coming and give the information that they've learned. That's where they get the biggest reward. Money is a certain thing, but it's fulfilling to pass that on, and that's exactly what you're doing with the Price to Sell podcast. So. Yeah, that's what you're doing, bro. Whether you like it or not, but just keep it going, bro. I love it, and I love the energy, and we're almost at that 1 hour mark, so I'm gonna transition here into the final segment on Couple Casuals podcast. Sounds bro. Good. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Salute, bro. Salute, bro.
Okay.
The cheers, bro. I give a second to the guest to kind of say what it is that he wants to say. Have a second to kind of give like a cheers. Like if you're at like a pre-drink or you're at like a party or something, you give a quick salute, quick speech, whatever you want to say. The floor is yours. What Matt Campoli salute session. Let's hear what he has to say. Go for it, brother.
Cheers, my friends. First of all, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for the kind words.
And salute to all your work.
I appreciate it.
Doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you.
Also, if just make sure you surround yourself with people with proper mindsets, positive energy all the time. If someone's dragging you down, don't be scared to boot them out of your life. And don't forget your day ones. If you are someone that is gaining some success or living a bit of that highlight reel, don't forget the people who you started life with, or your roots, where you come from. Super important to stay grounded, because you could lose yourself very well. So, all in all, just surround yourself with good company. Don't be afraid to try something new. If you feel stuck, try something new. There's always ways to get out of things, and also don't be afraid to just confide in people and talk to them, because doesn't matter who it is. There's always something to learn from someone. Always something new to learn from someone. Yeah, 100%. They can be fucking the concierge of your condo, or you can be fucking Bill Gates. Always something to learn and something different. So takeaways in everything in life, but you just got to put yourself out there. Talk to more people. Yeah, there's a saying, treat everybody as if they know something you don't. Yeah, man. And also, I live on this too. Like, treat everyone as if they've had their heart broken. Oh, wow. That's a good one too, bro. Yeah. Everyone's had their heart broken. Yeah. Right? And ultimately, like, doesn't matter who they are. Like, instantly your walls drop. Best lessons from there though, bro. Yeah. Best lessons. The best. But you will approach someone, think about, like, this guy's had their heart broken before. And that barrier of, like, judgment you had towards them, like, I don't like this guy's haircut. Look at this guy's clothes. I don't like his face. It's all gone. Now you're just talking to another human being who's also had their heart broken. That's amazing, bro. And yeah, it's a cool perspective. But that's amazing, man. Well said. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I want to give a big salute. That's probably one of the best salutes we've had, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, bro. Off the cuff. I feel like I was off the cuff. You basically, it was like a good synopsis of exactly what we talked about. I appreciate you guys. I
appreciate you, Matt.
Thank you for
Give
having
him a
me.
follow. Tell him where to find you quick, and then we'll fuck off.
Just Matt Campoli on Instagram, 2 T's. And that's pretty much my name everywhere. And then the podcasts are It's Simple Podcast and Price to Sell Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see me around, say what up. Don't be afraid. We'll have a chat. We'll have a salute.
Salute, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Couple Casuals Podcast. Until next time.
Cheers.
Salute.